Hello! Welcome to our magical journal. Go ahead.
Our quote this week is Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten.
And that was by what?
Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, I started
Which topic?
Monday on Christopher Columbus. Now, Christopher Columbus is very controversial topic, and these are the facts. Let's see, I'll show you the books first. I read Christopher Columbus, who was Christopher Columbus, and that was in a great book. I read the whole thing, and I read also Stories of Great People, Columbus's Chart, and it was a really cool book. It was a children's book, but it was like dumbed down to where you could understand. Kind of got to the point of what I was researching this week. So Christopher Columbus was born in 1451 and he lived to 1506. So his famous trip in 1492 took him until October 12th to spot land, and the first island that he settled at he called it San Salvador, which today is known as the Bahamas. So his voyages actually led to the economical shift and cultural interest of the known world. So this is really exciting. This is kind of cool to think about. As a youngster, he sailed to places such as Ireland, England, Greece, Iceland, Portugal, West Africa, and Spain, which I can't imagine sailing that as a youngster. And he worked on boats and sailed to those places. 1476, he was shipwrecked off the coast of Portugal, and he swam ashore from there. That was a big shipwreck, and settled there, and actually ended up meeting a woman and marrying her, and had a son named Diego. Shortly after childbirth, his wife passed away, and a few years later, he ended up moving to Spain after his wife passed, and ended up having a second son a few years later. So he ended up working as a map maker with his brother. And this is where he started becoming fascinated by the idea of sailing west from Europe to Asia because of trade of spices and silk, and with India and China. And they were very important back in those days, and he wanted to make the trip easier, sailing directly west and hitting land, rather than all the different routes were just very dangerous and very treacherous. So he wanted to do this to make life easier and also to become a very wealthy man, but it was hard to convince anyone to fund his trip. He finally got funded after begging and pleading with different various countries. Spain was the country that ended up funding his voyage, and the three ships were named. What were the three ships?
Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. The Niña, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
And once he reached land, he was convinced he reached the islands in Southeast Asia, the Indies. Did he reach the Indies, guys?
Yeah.
No, he did not.
No.
He didn't. He was actually at the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. So this is why he called the people that he ended up meeting there, the natives that were in that land, Indians, because he thought it was in the Indies, but he was not. So he ended up shipwrecking Santa Maria on Christmas Day. So they had to actually settle there where they were to try and find gold, and they didn't have a ship. And so instead of bringing back gold to Spain, he brought back natives, pineapple, tobacco, turkeys, parrots, kind of to prove to Spain that there were riches. As a youngster, he was taught by monks how to read, astronomy, and geometry, which he later used to navigate. Let's see. The Niña and the Pinta were very small ships. And as you can see in the example that I've posted on the screen, Columbus wasn't very impressed by these ships, including the Santa Maria, which he was captain of. He ended up being captain of. And he thought it looked like a tub and was far too heavy and unwieldy for the trip. And he was actually right, because it ended up being shipwrecked. This is an interesting fact that I found interesting. While he was at sea, Columbus measured the speed of his ship by throwing in a piece of driftwood into water at the bow, which is the front of the ship, and seeing how long it took to get to the stern, which is the back of the ship. Also, while traveling across the sea, meals consisted of pickled fish or salted meat, maggoty bread, moldy cheese, stewed peas, and watered down wine. Only one meal per day was allowed. And the Tainos, which is like the Jamaican people or Trinidad, those from that area slept on woven hammocks. And so Columbus actually brought one of those home, the hammocks, with him, and ever since it's been a traditional sailor's bed. So he actually started that tradition of sleeping in a hammock. And another last interesting fact was almost every city in U.S. Has a statue of Christopher Columbus. And so this weekend we actually went to the Christopher Columbus replica of his ship, the Niña and the Pinta. There was no replica of Santa Maria because it was actually the biggest of the three ships, and they had trouble getting it through channels, and so they ended up not making a replica of that ship. But we went to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and toured these ships that are on your screen, that you can see kind of the various pictures that we have. And the Niña was really neat. The Pinta was, I think the Pinta was the one that was the bigger than the Niña, right?
Right.
And the Pinta, they said, rocked more while they sailed.
It made me feel weird.
These boats actually are diesel-powered engines, but they do sometimes sail them, and they do travel 11 months out of the year.
I wouldn't want to
I
rock
think
on the
it's 10
Pinta.
or 11 months out of the year. They go to different ports and different locations, and so this will actually be open next weekend if you guys ever want to, if you want to go the weekend of October the 25th, 26th, and 27th. I think the last day they're open is the 27th. So if any of you guys, and this is in 2019, so if you guys are watching later, sorry, already over, but if you're watching before that date, y'all can go ahead and go up there and check it out.
The topic this week is weeds.
So you were wondering what weeds were. So what are weeds before you open that up?
Weeds are plants that, like, if they're growing on your door, that's a weed.
But it's a matter of opinion, right?
Yes.
It's not a type of plant, is it?
It's not.
It's not. It's actually just something that they find what? Annoying. Invasive.
But I like weeds. I don't care if they're not beautiful. I care if they're beautiful and
Well, it's not just being beautiful. It's about what? So they're causing a what?
They're causing issues.
Causing issues. That's right. Okay,
And
go ahead and show me your book. Turn it around.
If you saw this, I think this is in a different spot, but we have one right. We have them right
Those
down
are
the road,
in the United
but they're
States.
dead. But they still have
So what is that, Ashlyn?
This is so it's passion flower.
Passion flower, and
I like the wavy little. It's really wavy, like a little fan inside there.
You got anything else for me?
And what is this flower?
That is a Mexican prickle poppy. That's a poppy.
And I'm gonna do my research.
Okay, go ahead and turn to your research. Turn around and tell us about it.
So back in the day, people used to use an airplane at the bottom. This is where it sprays stuff that kills bugs and the weeds.
Okay.
And they figured out that they can't use that anymore.
Okay. And that's pesticides, right? To kill the weeds?
Yes. And I learned that a spice bush in a certain state and
Certain
here too,
country.
and it is endangered because there's not really a lot of its host plants.
And why is that? Why is there not a lot of host plants for the spice bush butterfly?
Because lots of people litter, but they keep getting...
They're killing it.
Yeah, they're killing it. And there's a people that they like to sell roses on Valentine's Day.
And plant them? Okay.
And I think this is a leaf of the
Poisonous? You talk about poisonous leaves?
it's the leaf of this, I think. I tried to copy it.
Uh-huh.
And next one.
And you said let it grow, right?
Let it grow, let it grow.
Okay. What about this picture? What's that a picture of?
Now this is a picture of a flower, and it's and the next one's in this book.
Okay. Cool.
So this is a garden that grows inside of pots. If you can read that there.
Yeah, gardens can grow in pots.
This one grows in a pot.
And then what about this one? This is just a picture of the book?
Yeah.
That's photosynthesis, isn't it? Or is that the other one? Yeah, this is photosynthesis.
And so, if you can read that, that is...
glucose, right?
I'm so good at his glasses.
Which is what?
Yep.
But what is glucose? What did you learn that was?
Glucose is the stuff inside. That's the water inside the stem. It goes up and goes to the parts, like it goes to the parts that need
What
it.
do plants make though for themselves?
They make their own food.
That's right. So glucose is what they end up making for themselves, right? Okay. What else?
And your dad will be like this tall to a flower.
To a sunflower, right?
To a sunflower. And your mom is this tall to a sunflower. Like your children,
Your children are that tall. So the sunflower
this
is what?
Kid. A sunflower is not a weed.
It's not a weed, but what, is it tall?
Yes, it's tall. It's even taller than this picture. It's just an example. And your brother would be this tall to a flower. Baby would be that
What's
tall.
this?
That's the man again. The animal one.
Cool.
I like the part whenever you can help the world and you can help the plants by throwing away trash into the trash can.
What's this? Plantology?
Plantology.
Okay.
So I saw this flower and I call it a star flower. The top and the two little arms and the 2 feet.
Okay.
And
what's that?
This is a dandelion.
Dandelion seed.
Did you know that they don't have to be planted in the ground? They just land on the ground and it starts sprouting.
That's pretty amazing, huh?
Yep.
Doesn't even need to be planted. It can just plant itself, huh? What about that?
And
What's that?
Did you know that a plant is inside the seed? And,
Isn't that amazing?
And it comes out and it makes a little tiny sprout up there. And then the seed starts to go away and then it has a bud up top. And then it opens and it's a flower.
Aww.
Now that's a sunflower.
Is that a sunflower?
This is our
terrarium. And what are you doing?
I'm spraying it.
You're watering it, huh?
Watering it
the
with
tiny
the water.
sprouts, right? Teeny tiny sprouts. We'll show you a picture of the real one in this clip right here. And then?
Okay. So, this is what I'm thinking about. The roots suck up the dots. And this one right here and that one, you can't see all the dots, but I did do dots. And they're coming, I'm thinking, how do they get sucked up? Well, did you know that the roots are like little straws? They don't drink through, like, there's not a little thing that pokes out like that. Doesn't like drink like that. Like we drink with straws. It drinks from its bottom. Can you imagine from drinking from your feet?
I can't imagine that, but that's how they drink, huh? And then what?
And this, but flowers, just how do they open? That's what I'm thinking too. And this is how it grows. That's how it turns into a sprout.
That's cool. All right, what's the next page?
This book. But okay. And it's this page number, but it's a flower. It's part of a lily pad, I think, because I didn't see the whole picture.
Cool.
Now this is my favorite page. Now, look at the little stamp over here. See the little sprout on the side?
I do see it.
So, they, like, think of this as part of its root. It, like, drinks with its root. This, if you want to do it at home, you can dig, and if you have it, you can buy some seeds. Whatever your favorite flower is, you can plant it. And you can plant it in the ground, and you can watch it sprout up and turn into a flower. What I want you to do, if you want to, is to watch how it opens. So, and this is like, how does it grow inside a cage too? I'm thinking about that.
You talking about the terrarium? How does it grow inside a terrarium? We're finding out that, aren't we? We're experimenting, huh?
And this tells you that plants are part of our world.
They make the world go around, don't they?
Did you know that really a lot of your world is plants? You know what you make out of wood? You make trees. That's how you make wood. Well,
trees are made of wood, and you get wood from trees. What else do you get from trees?
You get medicine, and
you get paper from trees.
Yep.
You do get medicine from trees. You're right. Medicine comes from trees and plants.
And a lot of things.
Various stuff.
And you could just live your whole life with plants.
I'm ready for you.
Ready?
So your topic this week was?
My topic this week is dreams.
Dreams. You going to show us your journal first or your book?
Is my book.
Okay. Show us your book.
The book I'm going to show you today.
Cool. Okay.
And I'm going to get to the page that I need. The baby brain.
Yes, the baby brain, and you're going through what? Gestational development of the brain? Okay.
It's while you're inside mommy's tummy.
Right.
And this is what your brain looks like.
Okay.
And whenever birth, it's 9 months.
Tell me what this is.
That's 3 weeks.
And this is mommy's belly.
Face like. Yeah, this is what its face looks like.
None.
And then this is 7 weeks.
Okay.
That's what its face looks like. Then we have 11 weeks.
And the brain is developed a lot, hasn't it?
A lot. That means changed. Right?
Yep.
And this is 7 months.
And then this is at birth.
At birth. Well, not yet.
This one right here is at birth.
And then this one's at birth, 9 months. And
Very
the brain
cool.
has all the way developed. And
well,
now
tell us about the baby's brain.
And random. Nightmares. Did you know that nightmares are good for you? It serves as an emotional release, allowing us to let go of anxiety and stress. Did you even know that?
That's pretty cool.
And don't look over here yet, but look over here.
Okay.
Memories. Did you know that memories are not a skill?
Very cool.
They are not a skill. And now here's the baby's brain on this page.
Okay.
And this is that.
Tell us about the baby's brain.
A baby's brain weighs less than a pound.
That's not a lot, is it?
That's not a lot.
Not a lot at all, huh?
And here's what the baby's brain looks like in the development thing.
You want to turn it around and show us?
In my drawing.
You're drawing. You did a drawing of the development of the brain. Now, why did you study the brain for dreams?
Because whenever you sleep,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of your electricity gets ready for your dreaming.
Oh, your electricity?
Well, in your
like
brain,
your neurons?
your neurons,
Uh-huh.
they talk to each other about which dream they'll do in the night.
So you kind of did
And
a little...
what they have a conversation of what you did in the daytime.
That's right. So you did a little studying of the brain too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You have anything else to add?
here's another book that I read that I was just talking about.
Okay.
And
Tell me about it.
I have a bookmark in it. Okay, but it doesn't have any pictures in it, but I can tell you about it.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, let's see here. Now, while you sleep, I mean, if you never sleep again, you could look like you're sick, but you're not. It's just that you could die without sleep.
That's right. Sleep
And
is very
why
important,
we
isn't
sleep,
it?
This book, Why We Sleep, is because we want to get ourselves good enough for the next day ahead. And so we don't die. We can survive.
Survival.
What did you learn this week? Tell us on the comments.